What if I told you you could build an entire world, but not just with your imagination, but actually bring your ideas to life right from your computer, all with the power of... Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Cope, and in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I created my first environment scene in Blender. To start things out, I had to figure out the vibe of the scene, and I'll be real with you guys, I hit a serious brain block. So instead of forcing it, I threw 10 random props in a spin wheel, and whatever it lands on, that's the scene I'm making. Bioluminescent forest. Let's go. So now that we have our prompt, let's gather references, stuff like glowing mushrooms, trees, foliage, and composition shot. And now with my references finally locked in, let's finally dive into Blender. To start off the project, I grabbed a landscape from the add-on A&T landscape. It's very underrated and it's super clutch for saving time. The next step, I decided to make everything the right scale. So to do that, I grabbed a human model from Blender Kit, which I used for the very first time. It was very helpful finding assets on that because I didn't want to waste a lot of time modeling small miscellaneous things. Then it was time to bring the forest to life. To model the trees, I used a single vert, extruded that until I wanted the shape of my tree. After I get it to a satisfied spot, I use a skin modifier to add some depth to it. After I modeled the tree to where I wanted, I add an array modifier, then I just duplicate that in 360 angle to make it look more realistic. Then I'm going to add the roots. Then I'm going to use my proportional editing tool to add some imperfections. Once I finished with the roots, I needed some leaves, so I decided to jump to Photoshop. I created a leaf PNG and scattered that image around the tree using weight paint. Then I'm going to go to the particle settings to mess with the leaf settings so it can fit on the tree more organically. Now, we can't leave our tree looking like plastic, right? So I grabbed a real bark texture, Polyhaven. I highly recommend Polyhaven. It's free and they have some good resources. It's one of my go-to spots for high quality textures. I slapped it on and then I did some adjustments to the roughness and bump mapping so it can look more realistic. The trees are starting to look legit. Then I added another PNG image of a leaf and did that same cycle of using a particle system to scatter around my tree just to add more variation to the foliage. I was supposed to use two different variations of the leaves, but I like the second one so much more, I decided just to stick with that one solely. After that, I started placing my trees with intention, not just random. I wanted them to have a cinematic feel to them, so I pulled out my camera so I can have a reference and just place different trees all around the map. Now while figuring out my composition, I wanted to move down to the floor. I grabbed a texture from Polyhaven again just to get a better feel for the terrain that I'm going to be using for my scene. Now I'm going to adjust the roughness and bump nodes just so I can get more depth and realism with my floor. Now I'm going to just continue to place more trees around the scene. Like I said earlier, I arranged my trees very strategically. I want to add layers to the foreground and background. I kind of want to guide the eyes so they know where to look. Now I'm going to add grass to the ground. Now this step might seem small, but it really matters. Next I'm going to add different variants of grass. This is going to make the scene feel more natural and it's going to be easier to believe. Now I'm going to disperse the grass around the scene using the weight paint. I'm going to also tag team that with the particle system so it can spread around realistically. Now I'm going to go back to Blender Kit and find me a flower model. After I find the flower model that I want to use, I'm going to add a glowing effect using shader node. I wanted them to feel a little magical, like they're giving off their own light. Then I use weight paint again to scatter them all around the ground. Just sprinkle them in with natural clusters so it don't look too perfect. Now I'm going to use a texture shader from Blender Kit as well. This made the scene pop even more. It came out the box looking really clean and it added some dimension to the scene. Now here's where things took a turn. I wanted to set the mood, so I flipped the whole vibe by changing the world shader. I added a dark environment texture and adjusted the node setup to give it that moody nighttime feel, instantly transforming the whole vibe. Soft glows, soft shadows, contrast. Now we're talking. Now to push the visuals even more, I added some cinematic lighting. Then I'm going to add some fog using a big cube with volume settings. Subtle, but it made the scene so much better. It made it misty and mysterious. Now I'm going to add the final touches to the scene. Off camera, I added a turtle and a giant spider. Now I'm going to add the final touches to the scene. Off camera, I added a giant turtle. Now I'm gonna just add the final touches to the scene. Off camera, I added a turtle and a giant spider just to add a story to the scene. And that's gonna be it for this one. A full-blown mystical bioluminescent forest. Also, be sure to comment and let me know how I can improve my environment scenes. Now, I'm still a beginner and I know I have a lot to learn, but I really enjoyed this project. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And here's the final product. Looking at the project, I definitely think I could have added more life and color to the trees. Also, I should have made the flowers glow a little better. But overall, I don't think it was too bad for my first ever environment scene. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. And that's all for this one. I had a lot of fun recording and editing this video for you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next one.